I'm sitting in a dorm room right now that I paid for with money my dead grandfather saved for 18 years, money my parents stole and spent on my sister's Instagram-worthy life, and money I had to sue my own family to get back. And you know what? I'd do it again. But let me rewind, because the story of how one Thanksgiving dinner turned into a courtroom showdown requires some context. And trust me, you're going to want the full picture. My name's Lucas. I'm 19 now, but this story starts when I was 18, sitting at a Thanksgiving table, about to have my entire world implode in the span of 30 seconds. Growing up, I was the spare tire. You know the type. The kid who exists in the background while the golden child gets spotlights and standing ovations for breathing. My sister Emma is 3 years older, and from the moment she could hold a crayon, she was gifted, talented, going places. Me, I was doing fine. Solid. He'll figure it out. Let me give you the highlight reel of our childhood. Age 7, me, versus age 10, Emma. Emma gets private art lessons at $200 a month because she's showing real promise. I ask for guitar lessons. Dad, YouTube is free, buddy. Teach yourself. Age 12 versus age 15. Emma gets a brand new MacBook Pro for high school, $2,000. I get Emma's old laptop from 2015 that sounds like a dying lawnmower when it boots up mom. You don't need fancy equipment for homework. Meanwhile, Emma is using her MacBook to make digital art that gets hung on the fridge like the Sistine Chapel. Age 14 versus age 17. Emma studies abroad in Italy for a summer. Cost $8,000. I ask about summer programs. Dad, maybe you can get a job at the mall, build character. I built character folding clothes at Gap. Emma built her portfolio in Tuscany. Age 16 versus age 19. Emma gets a used Honda Civic for her birthday. Not a fancy car, but it was hers, and it ran. My 16th birthday? Dad hands me a bike helmet. Exercise is good for you. I'm not kidding. A helmet. Not even a new bike. Just the helmet. Emma laughed so hard she cried. I'm not saying I was abused. I had food, shelter, and parents who showed up to parent-teacher conferences. But there was always this unspoken hierarchy. Emma's dreams matter. Lucas's dreams are cute. Emma went to a private liberal arts college, graduated with a degree in fine arts and $40K in student loans that my parents helped pay off. I went to public school, got B+ grades, not stellar, but solid, and was told repeatedly that I should keep my options open and not put all my eggs in one basket. Translation: don't expect us to fund your dreams like we funded Emma's. But here's the thing. I had a secret weapon. My grandpa. Grandpa Joe was my dad's father. Tough, no nonsense, worked construction for 40 years, and had hands like leather and a heart bigger than his tool belt. He was the kind of guy who said what he meant and meant what he said. And from the time I was little, he told me the same thing. Lucas, I'm setting money aside for your education. You're going to college. You're going to have opportunities. I'm making sure of it. He'd say it every birthday, every Christmas, every random Tuesday when he'd pick me up from school in his beat-up pickup truck that smelled like sawdust and coffee. Don't worry about paying for school, he'd say. Grandpa's got you covered. I loved him for it. Not because of the money, though, yeah, that mattered, but because he saw me. He believed in me when my own parents were too busy managing Emma's artistic temperament to notice I existed. Grandpa died 2 years ago. Heart attack. Quick, painless, the way he would have wanted. I was 16. I cried at his funeral like I'd lost the only person who ever really understood me. Because I had. At the funeral, Grandpa's lawyer, a stern guy named Mr. Patterson, pulled my dad aside. I overheard part of it. The educational trust fund for Lucas is in order. Details in the will. I remember perking up. Trust fund. That sounded official. Bigger than I'd imagined. I asked my dad about it later. What did the lawyer mean about a trust fund? Dad waved it off. Your grandpa set aside some money for college. We'll handle it when the time comes. How much? Enough. Don't worry about it. I figured it was maybe $10,000. Maybe $15,000 if Grandpa had been really diligent. Enough to help, not enough to cover everything. I didn't push it. I was 16, grieving, and frankly, just grateful Grandpa had thought of me at all. Fast forward 2 years. Senior year of high school, college applications. I applied to 6 schools, got into 4, and chose state, a solid public university an hour away. Not fancy, but good programs, reasonable tuition. About $25,000 a year, including room and board. In August, I asked my parents about the college fund. So, when do we talk about Grandpa's money? Mom was chopping vegetables, didn't look up. We'll discuss it later, sweetie. Later when? School starts in January. We have time. Let's just get through senior year first. Red flag. But I ignored it. September. Mom, I need to pay my deposit for housing. We'll handle it. October. Financial aid forms are due. Your father's handling it. November. Orientation is in 2 weeks. I need to pay. Lucas, enough. We said we'll handle it. By Thanksgiving, I had a knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. Something was wrong. I could feel it. Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house. The whole family was there. Mom, Dad, Emma, home from grad school, my aunts and uncles, a couple of cousins, and Grandma Ruth, Grandpa's widow, my dad's mom. Grandma Ruth was quiet at family gatherings. Always had been. She'd sit at the end of the table, eat her turkey, and observe. But she was sharp, sharper than people gave her credit for. Emma was holding court, as usual, talking about her master's program in art history, her new apartment in the city, her upcoming internship in Paris. Paris. Because, of course, the stipend isn't huge, Emma was saying, but the experience will be incredible. And Mom and Dad helped me get settled in my apartment, which was a lifesaver. Uncle Dave nodded. That's great. How's the program? Expensive, Emma laughed. But worth it. I'm learning so much. Aunt Karen turned to me. What about you, Lucas? Where'd you decide on for college? State, I said. Starting in January. That's exciting. You must be so ready to start. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And is the college fund covering most of it? Innocent question. Normal question. The table went silent. Not the comfortable silence of people chewing turkey. The awkward, loaded silence of a bomb about to detonate. Mom and Dad exchanged a look. The kind of look that married people do when they're about to tag team a difficult conversation they've rehearsed. Mom set down her fork. Smiled. That tight, controlled smile that means, I'm about to say something you won't like, but I'm going to make it sound reasonable. Actually, she said, passing the gravy to my uncle like this was the most casual thing in the world. We used that money to help Emma with grad school. I blinked. What? Emma's master's program is expensive. She needed help. So we reallocated the funds. Reallocated. Like it was a budget line item and not my future. You used my college fund? For Emma's grad school? Dad jumped in, voice firm. She needed it more, Lucas. Master's programs are serious money. You can start at community college, save some cash, transfer later. But I got into state. I'm supposed to start in January. You can defer. Take a gap year. Work. Save up. I don't want a gap year. I want to go to college. With the money Grandpa saved. For me? Mom's smile tightened. Sweetie, try to understand. Emma's at a critical point in her career. This internship in Paris could change her life. And college could change mine. You'll be fine, Dad said dismissively, reaching for the rolls. It's not like you were going anywhere special. State's just state. The words hit like a slap. Not like you were going anywhere special. Emma, oblivious or uncaring, added, Lucas, it's really not a big deal. Community college is a perfectly good option. Lots of people do it. Lots of people whose parents don't steal their college fund. Don't be dramatic, Mom snapped. I'm not being dramatic. Grandpa saved that money for me. And we used it to help your sister. Family helps family. I opened my mouth, closed it. Couldn't form words. Aunt Karen looked uncomfortable. Uncle Dave studied his plate. My cousins pretended to be very interested in their phones. And then Grandma Ruth spoke. Her voice was quiet but cut through the tension like a knife. What college fund are we talking about? Mom turned to her, still trying to keep the smile. The one Dad left, Mom, for the kids' education. The trust fund? Yes. We used it for Emma's graduate program. It was the right decision for the family. Grandma Ruth set down her fork slowly, deliberately, looked at me. Lucas, did they tell you how much was in that fund? I shook my head. No, Grandma. Dad just said it was enough. Something shifted in her expression. Not anger. Something colder. More dangerous. She stood up. Slowly. The kind of slow that makes everyone stop talking and stare. Your grandfather, she said, voice steady. Saved for 18 years. Every overtime shift. Every bonus. Every tax return. He put it all into a trust fund. Mom's face started to lose color. Dad's jaw clenched. He set up that trust when Lucas was born, Grandma Ruth continued. Made me witness the paperwork. Told me specifically, this is for Lucas's education, no one else's. The table was dead silent now. He saved $180,000. My brain short-circuited. $180,000. Yes, in your name, specifically. I looked at my parents. You spent $180,000 of my money on Emma? Mom's voice went shrill. Mom, that's not… You're confused. I'm not confused. Grandma Ruth opened her purse, pulled out an envelope. I brought copies of the paperwork because I had a feeling this conversation might happen. She handed me the envelope. Inside, official trust documents, legal letterhead, my grandfather's signature. Educational trust fund for Lucas Michael Morrison. Beneficiary, Lucas Michael Morrison. Purpose, educational expenses. Only. Amount, $180,000. Trustee, David Morrison, my dad. I stared at the paper, at my name, at the amount. $180,000. 18 years of overtime, of sacrifice, of my grandfather believing in me, and my parents had spent it on Emma's art history degree and Parisian Instagram aesthetic. I looked up. At Mom, whose face had gone from white to red. At Dad, whose jaw was clenched so hard I could see the muscle twitching. At Emma, who suddenly looked very, very small. You stole my college fund, I said quietly. We didn't steal, Dad started. You spent $180,000 that Grandpa saved for me, on Emma, without asking, without telling me. We were going to pay it back, Mom said desperately. When? I'm 18 now. I start college in 2 months. Grandma Ruth's voice cut through again. Ice cold. You have 72 hours to return that money to Lucas. All of it. Dad's head whipped toward her. Mom, you can't be serious. Or I'm calling my lawyer Monday morning, and we'll let a judge decide if what you did was just reallocation or if it was theft. The word hung in the air. Theft. Emma's fork clattered to her plate. Wait, could they actually get in trouble for this? Grandma Ruth looked at her. Your uncle was trustee of a fund explicitly designated for Lucas. Using it for anything else is embezzlement of trust funds. So yes, they could get in very serious trouble. Mom started crying. The manipulative kind. The kind designed to make everyone feel bad for her. I stood up, grabbed my jacket. Where are you going? Dad demanded. Anywhere but here. I walked out. Behind me, chaos erupted. Voices overlapping, people arguing, Emma saying something about not knowing, Mom sobbing, Grandma Ruth's voice steady and cold cutting through it all. I sat in my car in the driveway, hands shaking, staring at the trust documents. $180,000. 18 years of a man who loved me working his ass off to give me a future. And my parents had stolen it from my sister's European vacation disguised as education. My phone started buzzing, texts flooding in. But I didn't look at them. I just sat there, holding the proof of the greatest betrayal of my life and tried to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do next. I sat in that car for 20 minutes before Grandma Ruth came out. She didn't knock on the window, just opened the passenger door and got in like we'd planned this. You okay? She asked. No. Good, you shouldn't be. She pulled another envelope from her purse. This woman came prepared like she was storming Normandy and handed it to me. Copies of everything, the original trust documents, your grandfather's will. bank statements showing the initial deposit and growth over 18 years. I stared at the envelope. Why do you have all this? Because I knew. She looked at the house. 2 years ago, after the funeral, your father got very cagey when I asked about the trust. Started using words like managing and family needs. I've been married long enough to know what those words mean. Why didn't you say something? I hoped I was wrong. I wasn't. She turned to me. Monday morning, we're seeing a lawyer, a real one, not some family friend who will try to smooth this over. Someone who specializes in estate law and trust disputes. Grandma, I can't afford. I can, and I will. Your grandfather worked himself to the bone for that money. I'll be damned if I let your father steal it and get away with it. My phone buzzed for the 100th time. I finally looked. Mom, please come back inside. Let's talk about this calmly. Dad, you're embarrassing the family. Get back in here. Emma, I didn't know it was your money specifically. I'm sorry. Aunt Karen. Sweetie, give them a chance to explain. I showed Grandma Ruth. She snorted. Explain. What's to explain? They stole $180,000 and got caught. Block them. All of them. Even Emma? Especially Emma. She's 21 years old with a bachelor's degree. She knew that money came from somewhere. Monday morning, 9 a.m., I was sitting in a law office that smelled like leather and old books. The lawyer's name was Rebecca Hartwell. Late 50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She looked like she could demolish you in court and then recommend a great lunch spot. She reviewed the documents for 10 minutes without speaking. Then she looked up. This is textbook embezzlement of trust funds. So it's actually illegal? I asked. Extremely. Your father was named trustee, which means he had a fiduciary duty to manage that money solely for your benefit. Using it for anything else, let alone your sister's education, is a direct violation of that duty. What can we do? Several options. 1. Demand immediate repayment. 2. File a civil lawsuit for breach of fiduciary duty. 3. Report it to the DA's office as criminal embezzlement. I blinked. Criminal? Like jail? Potentially. Embezzlement of this amount is a felony. But let's start with option 1. I'll draft a demand letter. They have 72 hours to return the full amount, or we proceed with legal action. Grandma Ruth leaned forward. And if they claim they don't have it? Then we freeze their assets, audit their finances, and recover what we can through court-ordered judgment. Ms. Hartwell smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. I've done this before. I'm very good at it. The letter was delivered Tuesday afternoon, hand-delivered by a process server to ensure they couldn't claim they didn't get it. By Tuesday evening, my phone, which I'd unblocked just to see the fallout, was nuclear. Dad, you sent us a legal letter? Are you insane? Mom, how could you do this to us? We're your parents. Emma, this is going too far, Lucas. I didn't respond. Ms. Hartwell had been clear. Do not engage. Any communication goes through me. Wednesday morning, their lawyer called Ms. Hartwell. She conferenced me in. Ms. Hartwell, this is Ron Stevens. I represent the Morrison family. Good morning, Mr. Stevens. I assume you're calling regarding our demand letter. Yes, my clients acknowledge that there's been a misunderstanding regarding the trust funds. Misunderstanding? Ms. Hartwell's voice could cut glass. Your clients embezzled $180,000 from their son's education fund. That's not a misunderstanding. That's theft. That's a strong word. It's the legal term. Would you prefer breach of fiduciary duty? Conversion? I have several accurate options. Silence on his end. Then, my clients don't have $180,000 liquid. They use those funds over 2 years for legitimate family expenses. Legitimate? I couldn't help it. They bought my mom a car. Ms. Hartwell held up a hand. Mr. Stevens, the trust documents are crystal clear. Those funds were designated exclusively for Lucas's educational expenses. Your client's financial situation is irrelevant. They have 72 hours. That's impossible. They'd have to sell their house. Then they should start packing. She hung up, looked at me. They don't have it, or most of it. We're going to have to force recovery. What does that mean? Lawsuit, asset freeze, court-ordered repayment plan. It'll take time, but we'll get your money back. Grandma Ruth nodded grimly. Do it. Thursday morning, deadline day, an email arrived from Emma. Not to my lawyer, directly to me. Lucas, I know you're probably not reading these, but I need to say this anyway. I didn't know the money was specifically yours. Mom and Dad told me it was family education funds that they'd set aside. I never questioned it because, why would I? They're our parents. But I looked at the paperwork Grandma Ruth showed everyone. I saw Grandpa's signature. Your name. The date. The day you were born. And I realized, he set this up for you before I even existed in his mind. This was never mine to take. I have about $30,000 in savings. Money from my part-time jobs, graduation gifts, teaching assistant work. It's yours. All of it. I'll send it today. I know it's not enough. I know it doesn't fix this. But it's what I have, and it should have gone to you in the first place. I'm sorry it doesn't cover it. But I'm sorry anyway. Emma. I stared at the email for a long time. Showed it to Grandma Ruth. Is she serious? I asked. Check your bank account. I did. $30,000 had been deposited an hour ago. Huh, I said. She's taking accountability, Grandma Ruth said. That's more than your parents are doing. It's still $150,000 short. Yes, which is why we're still suing. By Thursday afternoon, the deadline passed with no payment from my parents. Ms. Hartwell filed the lawsuit Friday morning. Lucas Morrison versus David and Patricia Morrison, breach of fiduciary duty, embezzlement of trust funds, conversion. They were served with papers at home Saturday morning. Aunt Karen called me. Lucas, honey, your parents are devastated. So am I. They're willing to work out a payment plan. They had 2 years to work out a plan. They had 72 hours to return the money. They did neither. They can't afford $180,000. Then they shouldn't have spent $180,000 that wasn't theirs. This is family. Family doesn't steal from family. Funny how that works. She hung up on me. Discovery phase was brutal. Ms. Hartwell subpoenaed their bank records. What came back was worse than I'd imagined. Emma's grad school tuition, $60,000, not $80,000 like they claimed. Emma's apartment deposit plus furniture, $12,000. Emma's graduation trip to Europe, $18,000 new kitchen renovation, $28,000 mom's used Honda, actually new, $24,000 dad's failed business investment, crypto, $15,000 various family emergencies, $23,000 total spent, $180,000 they'd burned through every penny. And they'd lied about the amounts. I sat in Ms. Hartwell's office, staring at the spreadsheet. They spent $28,000 on a kitchen, I said numbly, while telling me to go to community college. Yes. They bought a new car with my college money. Yes. And Dad lost 15 grand on crypto. Ms. Hartwell's expression was carefully neutral. The crypto investment occurred 6 months after your grandfather's death. He saw the trust fund as available capital. I felt sick. Can we add that to the lawsuit? It's already there. We're arguing gross negligence in addition to embezzlement. It strengthens our case significantly. The family pressure campaign intensified. Uncle Dave called. They're losing their house over this. Is that what you want? I want my college fund. They can live in an apartment like normal people. Aunt Karen sent a long text. Your parents raised you for 18 years, fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head. Doesn't that count for something? I showed it to Grandma Ruth. She grabbed my phone and called Karen directly. Karen, it's Ruth. Listen carefully. Feeding and clothing your child is called parenting. It's not a loan. It's not leverage. It's the bare minimum legal requirement. If they want credit for that, give them a participation trophy and move on. Lucas doesn't owe them anything. She hung up, handed me back my phone. I really love you, Grandma. I know. Now stop answering these people. They're just trying to wear you down. 8 weeks later, we were in court. My parents looked terrible. Dad had lost weight. Mom's hair was grayer than I remembered. They sat with their budget lawyer, Mr. Stevens, who looked like he regretted every decision that led to this moment. Ms. Hartwell had come prepared with binders, highlighted documents, and the energy of someone about to end careers. The judge, Judge Margaret Chen, looked at the case file with barely concealed disbelief. Mr. Stevens, your clients embezzled $180,000 from their son's educational trust fund? Your Honor, embezzled is a strong, it's the correct term. What's your defense? Mr. Stevens floundered. They intended to pay it back. It was always meant as a loan. A loan requires consent from the lender. Did Lucas consent? Well, no, but did they inform him they were taking the money? Not explicitly, but so they took $180,000 without permission, without informing the beneficiary, and spent it on non-educational expenses including home renovations and cryptocurrency. She looked at my parents. Is that accurate? Mom started crying. Dad stared at his hands. Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Stevens admitted. Judge Chen turned to me. Mr. Morrison, what are you seeking? Ms. Hartwell stood. Full restitution of $180,000 minus the $30,000 already returned by his sister. Total, $150,000, plus legal fees and court costs. Your Honor, Mr. Stevens stood. My clients don't have $150,000. They'll lose their home. They should have considered that before spending their son's college fund on a kitchen. The judge ruled. Full restitution, $150,000 payment plan, $2,500 month for 60 months, 5 years. Legal fees, $8,000 court costs, $2,000 total owed, $160,000. The gavel came down. My parents sat frozen. I felt nothing. Not victory, not satisfaction, just exhaustion. Outside the courtroom, Emma was waiting. She'd come alone, sat in the back, said nothing. Hey, she said quietly. Hey, for what it's worth, you were right about all of it. Okay. I quit grad school. I looked at her. What? I can't keep going knowing it was paid for with your money. It feels disgusting. I'm working now, paying you back what I can. Emma, you already gave me $30,000. It's not enough. It'll never be enough, but I'm trying. We stood in awkward silence. I don't hate you, I said finally. You should. I don't. I just need time. She nodded. Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready. If you're ever ready. She walked away. I stood there, court documents in hand, watching my family fracture in real time, and realized sometimes doing the right thing doesn't feel good. It just feels necessary. The house sold 3 weeks after the judgment. I didn't find out directly. Marcus, my cousin who'd moved to Portland and had successfully escaped the family drama years ago, sent me a Zillow link with the caption, "Damn." The listing showed my childhood home. Motivated sellers, price to move. They were asking $340,000. It sold for $320,000 in 8 days. I felt weird about it. Not guilty, they'd done this to themselves, but weird. Like watching a building you used to know get demolished. Marcus called me that night. You doing okay? I don't know. Should I feel bad? Hell no. They stole your future and bought granite countertops with it. Where are they moving? No idea. We don't talk. Good. Keep it that way. I found out through Aunt Karen's Facebook post a week later. Helping my brother and sister-in-law settle into their new place. Downsizing is hard, but family sticks together. The tagged location was an apartment complex on the edge of town. The kind with a communal laundry room and parking lot potholes. I felt that weird feeling again. Then remembered. They'd have $120,000 left after paying off their mortgage. They'd be fine. More than fine. That was more than most people had, and they still owed me $160,000. The first payment arrived on the court-mandated date, $2,500. It showed up in my account with the memo. Morrison judgment payment. 1 to 60 payments, 5 years. A monthly reminder that they'd stolen from me. I used the first payment for spring semester tuition. Sent Grandma Ruth a screenshot. She replied, "Good, that's what it's for." Starting college in January, a full semester late, felt surreal. Everyone else had already formed friend groups, figured out the dining hall system, and learned which professors to avoid. I was starting from scratch. Move-in day, Grandma Ruth drove me, helped me carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs because the elevator was broken. "You sure you don't want us to get you a mini fridge?" she asked, surveying my sparse dorm room. "I'm good. I've got the meal plan." "What about spending money?" "Grandma, between what Emma gave me in the first payment, I'm okay." She pulled an envelope from her purse. Because of course she did. "Your grandfather would want you to have this." Inside, $500 cash. For emergencies or pizza, whatever college kids need. I hugged her. "Thank you for everything. You fought for yourself. I just made sure you had the weapons." College was good. Strange, but good. My roommate was a guy named Tyler from California who played ultimate frisbee and had strong opinions about kombucha. We got along fine. Classes were harder than high school, but not impossible. I declared as undecided, figured I'd earned the right to explore instead of rushing into something. And slowly, carefully, I started to build a life that was mine. Joined an intramural soccer league. Made friends with people who didn't know anything about my family drama. Went to parties where nobody asked why I'd started mid-year. It felt like breathing after being underwater. 6 weeks into the semester, Emma texted. "Emma, how's school?" I stared at it for 10 minutes before responding. Me. "Good. Busy?" Emma. "I'm glad." Emma. "I got a job at an art gallery. It's entry-level, but I like it." Me. "That's good." Emma. "I'm paying you back, $500 a month. It's not much, but it's what I can afford." Me. "You don't have to do that." Emma. "Yes, I do." The next month, $500 appeared in my account. Memo. From Emma, "I'm sorry." It kept coming. Every month. Like clockwork. My parents, meanwhile, spiraled. I heard about it through the family grapevine I was still technically part of, even if I'd muted all the group chats. Aunt Karen's updates were unintentionally hilarious. Praying for my brother and his wife as they adjust to their new living situation. Translation: they hate their apartment. Some seasons of life require sacrifice and humility. Translation: they're miserable. God works in mysterious ways. Translation: I have no idea what to say, but I'm going to post something anyway. Uncle Dave was more direct. He called me once. "Your dad had to get a second job." Okay. "He's working at Home Depot, at 60. He's 58, and lots of people work retail. It's humiliating for him. Maybe he should have thought about that before spending my college money on crypto." Dave hung up. 3 months in, I met someone. Her name was Jade. Sophomore. Environmental science major. Had a laugh that sounded like it came from someone who'd never worried about anything in her life. We met in the library. She asked if the seat next to me was taken. I said no. She sat down, pulled out a textbook about soil composition, and we didn't speak for 2 hours. Then she packed up and said, "Same time tomorrow?" Sure. It became a routine. Study sessions that turned into coffee dates that turned into actual dates. 4th date, she asked about my family. "Do you go home for breaks?" "No." "Why not?" I'd been dreading this question, practiced answers in my head. But sitting there, looking at her, I just told the truth. "My parents stole my college fund. I sued them. We don't talk anymore." She blinked. "Oh. Yeah. That's intense." "It is." "Do you regret it?" "No." "Do you think I should?" She thought about it. "No. I think you did what you had to do. Most people think I'm a jerk. Most people are wrong a lot." I kissed her. Right there. In the campus coffee shop with terrible lighting and chairs that hurt your back. She kissed me back. Summer came. Most students went home. I stayed on campus, got a job at the university bookstore, and took 2 summer classes to catch up. Jade went home to Seattle, but we texted constantly. Video calls at night. Plans for fall semester. It felt normal, like I was just a regular college kid with a regular life. Except for the monthly reminder, $2,500 from my parents, $500 from Emma. 14 months in, I'd recovered $42,000, on $18,000 left to go. Thanksgiving of my freshman year, Grandma Ruth invited me to her house. Just us, she said. No drama, just turkey and pie and terrible TV. It was perfect. We watched football, ate too much. Didn't talk about my parents until dessert when she casually mentioned, "Your father asked me for money last month." I looked up from my pumpkin pie. What? Said they were struggling with the payments. Asked if I could help. What did you tell him? I told him I'd already given my help to the person who deserved it. She smiled. He didn't call back. Spring semester, Emma asked if we could meet for coffee. I'd been avoiding it. She'd been paying me back consistently, $500 every month, never late. But talking felt like opening a wound that had just started healing. Still, she'd been trying. Really trying. We met at a cafe halfway between campus and her apartment. She looked different. Thinner. Tired. Hair pulled back in a practical ponytail instead of her usual styled look. "Thanks for coming," she said. "Yeah." Awkward silence. She stirred her coffee like it needed intensive therapy. "I'm not here to ask for forgiveness," she said finally. "I don't deserve it." "Okay. I just wanted to tell you what happened. After." "After what?" "After I quit grad school, after the lawsuit." I waited. "I had this moment," she continued, "where I looked at my apartment, the one Mom and Dad helped furnish with your money, and I felt sick, like the walls were made of guilt. So I got rid of everything, sold the furniture, moved to a studio with a futon and a microwave, got the gallery job, started actually working for things instead of having them handed to me." She looked at me. "I know it doesn't fix anything, but I needed you to know that I'm trying to be different, to not be the person who takes without thinking." "Why?" I asked. "Because you were right. About all of it. I spent my whole life thinking I deserved special treatment because I was gifted. But you know what I figured out? Being good at art doesn't make you a good person." She pushed an envelope across the table. "What's this?" "An extra payment. I picked up freelance work. It's not much, but it's yours. Inside, $1,000. Emma, I owe you more than money, Lucas, but money's all I can give right now." We talked for another hour. Not about the lawsuit, not about our parents, just life, her job, my classes, Jade, her new apartment. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something. When we left, she hugged me. "I'm proud of you," she said, "for fighting back, for not letting them make you small. Thanks. And if you ever want to talk, I'm here. No pressure." I watched her walk away, envelope of money in my pocket, and realized Emma was growing up. Better late than never. 2 years into college, the payments continued like clockwork. $2,500 from my parents. $500 from Emma, sometimes more when she had freelance work. I'd recovered $78,000. $82,000 left to go. My parents never tried to contact me directly. All communication went through the court-mandated payment system. But I heard things. Through Aunt Karen's Facebook. Through cousins who didn't know when to stop talking. Dad still working at Home Depot. Mom doing medical billing from home. Living in the same small apartment. Driving old cars. Shopping at discount stores. They'd gone from comfortable middle class to paycheck. And I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not guilt. Just nothing. They'd made their choices. Now they lived with them. Just like I lived with mine. Junior year, Jade and I moved into an apartment together. Nothing fancy, but it had a dishwasher and windows that actually opened. She met Grandma Ruth over winter break. They bonded over a shared hatred of my cooking and a love of terrible reality TV. "I like her," Grandma Ruth said after Jade left. "She's good for you." "She is. You happy?" I thought about it. About my classes, my friends, my life that I'd built from the ashes of my family's betrayal. "Yeah," I said. "I really am." "Good." She squeezed my hand. "That's what your grandfather wanted. For you to have opportunities. To be happy. I wish he was here to see it. He is. Trust me. He's very proud. 3 years in, I'd recovered $108,000. $52,000 left to go. I was on track to graduate in 4 years. Had a solid GPA. A girlfriend I loved. A future that looked nothing like the one my parents had tried to steal. And every month that payment arrived. A reminder. Not of what they'd taken, but of what I'd fought for. And won. Graduation day arrived on a Saturday in May, 4 years after that Thanksgiving dinner that changed everything. I wore the stupid cap and gown, smiled for photos, walked across the stage and shook the dean's hand while Grandma Ruth and Jade screamed from the stands like I'd won Olympic gold. I'd done it. Graduated with honors. Job offer already signed. Software company in Austin, $75K starting salary, full benefits. All paid for with money my grandfather saved, and I fought like hell to get back. After the ceremony, Grandma Ruth handed me an envelope. Your grandfather wrote you a letter, before he died, asked me to give it to you when you graduated. My hands shook opening it. Lucas, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And you made it. I knew you would. From the time you were little, you had something your sister didn't. Grit. The ability to keep going when things got hard. I set up that trust fund because I wanted you to have what I didn't. Options. Choices. A future that wasn't limited by money. Use it well. Make something of yourself. And remember, the money isn't the gift. The gift is what you do with it. I'm proud of you, kid. Always was. Always will be. Love, Grandpa, I cried. Right there. Jade held me while I sobbed into my polyester graduation gown. He knew, I said. He knew I'd need it. He knew you'd fight for it, Grandma Ruth corrected. Big difference. 2 months later, I got an email from the court. Morrison versus Morrison. Final payment received. I stared at it. 4 years. 48 payments. $20,000 from my parents. $40,000 from Emma. It was over. I called Grandma Ruth. They finished paying. I know. Your father called me. Asked if this meant you'd talk to him now. What did you say? I said that was up to you. Then I hung up. I laughed. What do you think I should do? I think you should do whatever feels right, not what feels obligated. I didn't call them. But I did drive to the cemetery. To Grandpa's grave. Brought flowers. Sat in the grass. Told him everything. About the lawsuit. College. Jade. The job. Emma's redemption arc. The final payment. I did it, I said to the headstone. Use the money exactly how you wanted. And I'm okay. Better than okay. The wind picked up. Rustled the trees. I like to think it was him saying he heard me. 6 months into my new job, Emma called. Hey, I know we're not close, but I wanted to tell you something. Okay. I'm getting married. I sat up. What? To who? His name's Marcus. He's an accountant. Very boring. Very stable. Exactly what I need. I laughed. Congrats. I'm not inviting Mom and Dad. Silence. Lucas, I can't have them there. Every time I see them, I remember what they did. What I let happen. I can't start a marriage with that in the room. I get it. But I'd like you there, if you want. No pressure. I thought about it. About the sister who'd taken my money without asking. Who'd grown up, quit her dream, paid me back, and rebuilt herself into someone better. Yeah, I said. I'll be there. The wedding was small. Emma in a simple dress. Marcus in a suit that actually fit. 20 people total. I stood in the back. Watched her get married in a life she'd funded herself. At the reception, she found me. Thank you for coming. Yeah, of course. I paid you back, every cent. But I know that doesn't erase what happened. No, but it's a start. She hugged me. I hope someday we can be real siblings again, not just people related by trauma. We're getting there. And we were. Slowly. Carefully. But we were. A year after graduation, Jade and I got engaged. Proposed on a hiking trip. Nothing fancy, just me, her, and a ring I'd saved 6 months to buy with money that was actually mine. She said yes while laughing and crying simultaneously. Planning the wedding, the question came up. Are you inviting your parents? I thought about it for weeks. Finally called Grandma Ruth. What do I do? What do you want to do? I don't know. Part of me wants them there. Part of me never wants to see them again. Then don't decide now. You've got time. 3 months before the wedding, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Lucas, it's Dad. My stomach dropped. How'd you get this number? Emma. I asked her to give it to me. She said no for a long time, but I wore her down. Silence. I'm not calling to ask for anything, he said. I'm calling to say I'm sorry. Okay? Your mother and I, we made terrible choices. We prioritized the wrong child. We stole from you. We justified it because we thought Emma needed it more. But we were wrong. I didn't speak. I know sorry doesn't fix it, he continued. I know we can't undo what we did, but I wanted you to hear it. From me. Not through lawyers or payment memos. I'm sorry, Lucas. Truly, deeply sorry. Why now? I asked. You've had 4 years. Because I've spent 4 years watching you build a life without us. Watching you succeed in spite of us. And I realized you were always going to be fine. You had your grandfather's stubbornness. But Emma almost destroyed herself because we taught her the world owed her everything. She fixed that herself. Because you showed her how. By refusing to enable us. More silence. I'm not asking for a relationship, Dad said. I'm not asking to come to your wedding. I'm just asking that you know. I'm proud of you. Even though I have no right to be. He hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation. Just closure. Wedding day. Small ceremony. Jade's family. Grandma Ruth in the front row. Emma and Marcus. A handful of friends. 2 seats in the back, near the door, sat empty. I'd sent the invitation. Didn't expect them to come. But I'd sent it. Because Grandpa's letter said to make something of myself. And part of that was deciding who I wanted to be. I chose to be someone who could extend an olive branch without needing it accepted. They didn't come. And that was okay. 5 years after that Thanksgiving dinner, I was sitting in my apartment in Austin, coffee in hand, Jade reading beside me, when my phone buzzed. Email from Emma. Subject: You should see this. Attached: a photo of Mom and Dad's Facebook post. Our son Lucas graduated college, built a career, and got married. We weren't part of those moments because of choices we made, but we're proud of him anyway. To any parent reading this, don't take your kids for granted. Don't assume they'll always be there. And never, ever use their future to fund your present. We learned that lesson the hard way. 200 comments, half supportive, half dragging them. I showed Jade. How do you feel? She asked. I don't know. Weird? They're taking accountability, publicly. That's something. Do you want to respond? I thought about it. About Grandpa's money, the lawsuit, the 4 years of payments, Emma's transformation, the therapy I'd needed to process it all, about the fact that I was happy, genuinely, completely happy, and that happiness had nothing to do with them. No, I said, I don't need to. Because here's what I'd learned. Forgiveness isn't required. Reconciliation isn't mandatory. Some relationships can't be fixed, and that's okay. What matters is that you fight for yourself, that you refuse to be small, that you take what's yours and build something beautiful from the wreckage. My grandfather saved for 18 years so I'd have a future. My parents stole it, and I fought like hell to get it back. Not for revenge, not to punish them, but because I mattered, and I'd be damned if I let anyone tell me otherwise. 6 years later, Grandma Ruth passed away peacefully in her sleep. At the funeral, I saw my parents for the first time in half a decade. They looked old, tired, gray. We made eye contact across the cemetery. Dad nodded. Mom tried to smile. I nodded back. That was enough. At the will reading, I learned Grandma Ruth had left me everything. Her house, her savings, a letter. Lucas, your grandfather would be so proud. I'm proud too. Use this wisely. Help Emma if she needs it. She's earned that. And remember, the best revenge is a life well lived. Love always, Grandma Ruth. I inherited $240,000. I put half in savings, used some to pay off Jade's student loans, donated to a scholarship fund in Grandpa's name, and sent Emma $20,000 with a note. For your future, you've earned it. She called me crying. I can't accept this. Yes, you can. We're family. The good kind. 10 years after that Thanksgiving dinner, I'm sitting in a house I own, in a career I love, with a wife I adore and a life I built from nothing. My parents are still making their small payments, not to me, but to their own conscience. We exchange Christmas cards. Nothing more. Emma and I have dinner once a month. Our kids play together. We're not perfect siblings, but we're real ones. And sometimes, late at night, I think about that moment at the table. The gravy. The bomb drop. Grandma Ruth standing up with paperwork and fury. And I'm grateful. Not for the pain, but for the lesson. Some people will take everything if you let them, so don't let them. Fight back. Stand up. Demand what's yours. Because you matter. And your future is worth fighting for.